So it's lunchtime again, and for lunch I'm having, I call it stripped chicken and mash. This recipe you can find in my cookbook, which is called The Naked Cook, and you can find it by googling Brands by Andrea. You can go to Shop Property Marketing and you can purchase the book there, or you can message me directly. My details are all online, and then I can assist you with the purchase of that book. Again, I want to remind you that 10% of the sales will go to my non-profit organization, which is called Starving Mothful, and so that will also go to basically like feed the hungry. Then also, excuse me, I've got commission opportunities as well. So if you want to make some extra cash by selling some ebooks, you're more than welcome to message me and I can assist you. Like either you can do it on a part-time basis, and I can assist you with like a sales rep job on a, like I said, on a part-time or contract basis. You can just find my details online, like I said, very easy. And so I will let you know how I made the mash. What I did was I peeled the potatoes and then I boiled it in some water with some chicken stock. You can also use beef stock. And then once the potatoes were soft, I then removed it from the pot and then added some butter as I made the mash. So that then I added for the stripped chicken. That recipe you will have to go purchase the book, and please let me know which recipes you do end up making. Just go ahead and break a leg with it and let me know and send me some pictures so we can share it on social media and we can see what's happening in your pot. Then I also, with my latest video, I started talking about my travel with me videos. So you can check out my YouTube channel and you can see all the places that I travel and the places I like walk, because like I mentioned to you, I love walking. I usually walk to the station and then I will take a train from the Paddo area to the Belleville area. That's where I'm located at the moment. And then from here, I would walk to the station and then take a train back to the Paddo area and then walk back home again. It's a long journey, but I love walking. Nothing beats fresh air. Um, Sometimes I'm not sure if it's the same with you. When the room gets kind of like stuffy, the air is not flowing through nicely, then you get drowsy or you get sleepy and your chest gets tight. That happens with me. I'm not sure if it's the same with you. You can let me know. But anyway, check the travel with me videos. If you're not from Cape Town, you can also have a look at how things look in Cape Town and what's happening in the streets. Then I also made an example in my last video, which is part 3 of my series on tone. With I made an example of like traveling and things that I don't like, in terms of like, you know, harassing comments or like touching inappropriately from a stranger. And I asked you to share the pros and the cons like of traveling for you, like public transport. Another thing I thought of that I also wanted to mention is, what do you think about coughing and sneezing? Say, for example, you're sitting in you're taking public transport and someone is sitting at the back of you, and then they cough and they sneeze like towards your head or back. And for me personally, I got sick a couple of times with regards to that, and I was annoyed because I also mentioned this in my previous videos. I am not someone that likes to take medication. I will take a Panado when I really have a serious headache. But other than that, even though the doctor gives me some medication, honestly, I don't take that medication. I had a really bad experience. Like back in the day, I was really young and I took some medicine, but it was made like for hair and nail growth, and that was still when I was in that perfectionist phase. And then I got really ill, and I like seriously vomited. It was just hectic, and since that experience, I made the decision personally that I don't want to take like any medication. If I really get to a stage where I need to take medication, then I will consider it if it's like serious illness. But for now, I think where I can go without it, I'll definitely choose that option. Um, so, what do you think about coughing and sneezing? And like for me, if I have the flu, because there's no other way I need to like travel like public transport, then I would have a scarf with me, and then I will like cough into the scarf and wait a little bit and then just lift up my head again. But I do find it kind of inconsiderate when people do like just cough out there and then they just like spread that flu or whatever the case may be. What is your thoughts on the situation? How can people better protect themselves and others in public transport when it comes to when they have the flu or whatever the case may be? um, Let me know. And then I wanted to touch on something with regards to JK. The JK brand, again, you can find when you Google JK. And also, when you Google solo to brands by Andrea, you will find the details there and you will be able to browse through my apparel and all the items I made with the JK design. I also got some nice blog posts, and I've got a lot of things with regards to the JK brand, which is all related to being distinctive, authentic, and powerful, being yourself, and encouraging other women to be themselves. And um, we also do appreciate the men that support and encourage women. I also wrote a couple of nice quotes with regards to men supporting women or encouraging women. It for me, it's just amazing to see that coming from um, like from a guy. When I do hear words of encouragement towards another female, or I see how protective they get in terms of safety when it comes to either their partners or it comes to the like friends of theirs. It is really for me encouraging and inspiring to see that coming from men. I have four brothers myself, and when they do something sweet for their girlfriends or whatever the case may be, for me it is quite heartwarming to witness. And if you're one of those guys, well done to you. We appreciate you. Keep doing that and keep inspiring other guys that need to see you do those things so that they can also maybe be open minded about it and then just like sort of do the same. But I wanted to make specific reference to that because this is a female brand, the JK brand, but I've seen a lot of support coming from the guy side in terms of like encouraging, protecting, supporting women and their goals, and just for them to be themselves. So well done to you. The topic today, I'm still discussing tone, but this is like sort of like on the opposite. So let's, we're talking about tone, but let's consider something with regards to like some scenarios and examples with regards to silence, right? And we're talking about body language. Again, I'm talking about, it can be work environments, it can be social settings, just like in general. So let's, some examples would be like not greetings. Say, for example, you are the friendly kind, you come to work, you like to socialize with others, or you don't like to socialize with others. Maybe you're just a private person, you're a bit of an introvert, you just want to get to work to do your job, but you do respect others, so you like to give them a friendly hello, but in return, they don't say anything. They just give you that straight face, like, I'm not interested in greeting you. Um, it starts there type of thing. So, this is related to, that toxic environment type of thing. So, greeting is something so simple, but it can make such a huge impact. Always, when I talk about customer service, when I used to train my staff, I always used to tell them, with a simple hello, you are able to sort of like get an idea of how you're going to continue your approach with the rest of the conversation. Like if it's telephonically and you start with a hello, how are you doing? You will know based on how that person responds. They will either say hello, or they will say hello in a upbeat tone, and then you know how to proceed with the conversation. You know what I mean? Some people are busy, some people are not that busy, but I don't think a simple hello is something that will cost too much of your time. But anyway, I will elaborate on that, like in terms of customer service. I do want to speak about my experience in terms of customer experience and all those things, but that would be for another series. For now, we're going back to tone, and we're going a little bit in the opposite direction when we are discussing silence. One of those things was not greeting. The other thing is expressing bad body language. So, what about you just trying to, when you walk somewhere and someone sort of like deliberately blocks your way? But look, we're not looking for problems. Um, I don't encourage anyone to look for problems, but it's about highlighting these issues, making other women feel heard and seen, and making them understand that we all experience similar scenarios and there is a way to overcome these things, and we do that by sharing our stories. So bad body language could be one of those things, like maybe they hear you on your way to the toilet, so now they're blocking the door for you, or they want you to say excuse me. They know to sort of like, they know you're about to go to the fridge. They see you coming on. They know your lunchtime already, and they block the fridge, what, deliberately. They are in your way all the time. You know what I mean? They want to show you that you sort of not welcome. Have you ever experienced that? I personally have. For me, it's like not such a big thing, but like now it's like, it's not so much of an issue for me, but in the past it was, when I was a bit inexperienced when it came to how to handle these things. I think you need to experience quite a bit of disrespect in order to figure out how you're going to navigate and how you can still remain positive and optimistic throughout your day. And I wanted to use my experiences to obviously help other ladies out there. So, for sure, I'm going to highlight it and talk about it so that when you experience this earlier on in life, then know that I have also, and know that there's other women that also experience the same thing, and you can move forward. Um, I want to then, another thing when it comes to, silence, it's not. I'm I'm trying to explain this properly. So when I talk about silence, I mean like this person isn't actively engaging with you. They are not actively speaking to you, but they are showing you with their body language and actions that they somehow have an issue with you. So, for example, the not greeting, the bad body language, or they would laugh, for example, laugh if something weird happens to you or if you make a mistake. And you sort of know the difference when it comes to a laugh. Like, is it like genuine, or is it like that, you know, deliberate evil kind of laugh kind of vibe? You know what I mean? And like I said, we don't look for problems, but if things like this happen and it happens consistently, then sort of you get the idea that someone may have an issue with you. And if you are the person doing that type of thing and you do have an issue with someone, I encourage you to have a sit down, a one-on-one with that person, and discuss discuss whatever the issue is and work through it peacefully. And you never know that you and that person might become good friends, because I know from personal experience that not everyone likes to talk about these things. They don't know how to speak about it. Sometimes they, they can get quite, they're either happy or angry, and there's no in between. So that they, when they actually want to express what they need to tell you, and they know that it's going to be a conflict situation, or they know that they can be quite harsh when they are going to say something, and it can be interpreted differently and it will make the situation worse. So there's lots of reasons why people don't want to, say anything. But what I've realized is like, in terms of behavior and a good environment, when you sit down with someone and you talk like adults, you have a nice, mature conversation, you be straightforward with regards to what the situation is, and then you can work through it, and you actually strengthen your bonds with that person. And the other thing is, like, for example, I'm going to go back to the point where I said, like, laughing in situations where someone is in, they somehow make a mistake or they fall or whatever the case may be, and it is embarrassing enough to fall in public. And people normally laugh when other people fall. I mean, there's lots of videos online where people literally fall, and it's like comedy. We laugh about it. So, when there's a time for comedy, laugh. But in certain situations, like, you'll know if it's necessary or unnecessary. So, some people will actually place things in your way so to make you stumble or fall so that you can look like a joke. I'm not sure if you experienced that. Let me know. Again, I can think of an example where I was in a work environment and I was sitting in an opposite cubicle, and my colleague, it was a close colleague of mine, we were acquaintances but we were really close. And what happened was, we were both making calls, and I just heard this loud sound, and then it sounded to me like someone was falling. And when I checked, literally this girl was like on the floor, and she had the phone still in her hand, and she was sitting on a seat but like on her back on the floor. And I was laughing the entire time. But if I have to think of an example like that, like if it was me, like I also fell off my chair many times at work. I always stumble when I walk. When I'm at home, I'm always tripping. I like fell a lot. Then I just get up and move on. But if I think of that situation, if it was me, I would have felt really embarrassed. And if someone was laughing the way I was, and sometimes we just need to know like when to stop. Like sometimes you can't help it, you know what I mean? Maybe you can laugh together with a person, but not in a way that like really just makes them feel worse than they already do because of that embarrassing situation. You know what I mean? It's all about being considerate and helping one another. Um, Another example would like to make is like that I personally experience is like people deliberately trying to annoy me to like sort of start like a conflict situation or trying to make trouble so that it can become an argument, and then it can be an issue, and then it's going to be you going to be called in by a manager or by your boss, or if it's in a social setting, you're going to sort of look like you're part of a problem, you're making trouble in your friend group or your pal group. And sometimes people are silently trying to do things to compromise your peace. So I've experienced people like when I'm in the toilet, they putting the light on and off, they trying to get in inside the toilet. When I'm in the toilet, they opening, pulling on the door, all unnecessary and unbelievable things you won't even think of. But like sometimes there's such a they are so determined to either get you out of that position or out of that space because they don't like you, they don't want you there, they want you to feel unwelcome so that you yourself can maybe leave that space. Or if you're in a friend group, they deliberately tease you or things like that so that you can retaliate, and then you can start an argument, and then it's going to be all of that people against you, and then you get you're part of the problem. So I wanted to specifically, it goes back to being silent but still having a big impact on someone else's peace, and you deliberately doing that. And I've experienced things like that where it's almost like when it comes time to talk about it, it's like if someone has to ask you like, did this person ever say anything to you, and you would have to answer no, because they are so conniving and clever at doing these things, so they've done it for a long time to other people and gotten away with it. And this is one of the things that I also make reference to in my brand when it comes to JK, that these are things that sort of fly under the radar, that people don't see as a problem, but it is a problem, and it makes environments really difficult and uncomfortable, and it causes people to resign if it's a work environment. It breaks up friendships, it social groups, it makes vibes uneasy. So if you agree with me or you disagree with me, I would like you to let me know. We can also do a conversation about it. We can do like a video call. We can debate it if you want to do that. I don't always want people to agree with me. I want you to share your opinion authentically, and we can discuss all sides of the situation, so that there might be something that I can learn from you, and there might be something that you can learn from me. But the main thing is that we keep sharing our stories, and we keep discussing these things, so that we can assist other people, and so that they can continue, you know. It's all about peace and love, basically. That's the bottom line. So if you can recall a situation with regards to any of the examples that I mentioned, please do share it. I'm interested to hear it. I would like to. You can also message me in the comment box, or you can, when you go to my blog pages. Every single website has a blog section. There's a comment box right at the bottom. You can put your comment there. I've got blogs on sexual harassment. I've got blogs on digital products for shop property marketing. I've got, there's also, if you go to my one website which is called Found My Design, you will see on the About page these quotes that I put there based on the experiences related to the JK brand as well. So then you can, if there's a quote that resonates with you, you can let me know and we can have a chat about it, and then we can like sort of publish it on social media for the benefit of other women. So I'm looking forward to hearing your take on the situation, and so that we can just, you know, be in a good headspace, and treat each other better. And yeah, this is just a journey of peace and love, and women encouraging women again, men encouraging women and supporting women, and being distinctive, authentic, and powerful. Thanks.